it's Tanya Tracy with Flow Physical Therapy and Pilates in Asheville, North Carolina, and I'm back again today with another Feature Area Friday. So today's feature area is in keeping with the theme that we've had for the month of June, which is tall and strong. And the idea that I had behind tall and strong was more exercises or stretches or things you could do to work on physical longevity or physical health. So keeping our body at a good level of health as we age, or as we go through the process of our bodies maturing. So basically, today what I want to talk about is a little bit of balance. So balance plays in because basically part of what we're doing with balance is teaching our body how to feel the surface that we're touching and reacting to it. So if it's an uneven surface, we're going to move our body a little bit differently than if it's a nice, stable, flat surface. And our body needs to be able to adapt to that. So we use these little things called proprioceptors to sense that tension or that stretch or that angle of the joint and relay that message back to our brains so our brains can tell that body part what to do to keep it from getting injured or to help keep us from falling. So one of the easiest ways to work on balance is a single leg stance. So single leg stance is just what it sounds like. So you get nice and tall first. So again, that's that idea, you're standing tall like something is pulling you up to the ceiling. A little bit of light tension in the core if you can. And then you're just going to shift to one leg and pick the leg up, bringing the knee up to hip height. When you do this, watch the hip that you're standing on. So we don't want the hip jutting out or popping out like this because then we're just sitting there and relaxing on a ligament. So we really want it to be active so our standing leg is doing a lot of work. It's not just the foot, it's also the hip muscles, it's a little bit of our core. We're keeping our chest up. If this is hard, you can put your fingers on a surface. I have a foam roller here which works really well. Sometimes people have used a dowel rod or a golf club or even just a countertop surface or the back of a chair. And it's not putting whole hands on. We're just thinking light fingertips, light touches is all you actually really will need for balance. As it gets easier, you take the hands away. So you obviously do both sides, the same thing, nice and tall, core active, strong hips, and you're picking up the foot. As you do this, you're going to feel your foot wobble. Ideally, you want to keep hands on your hips and not be flailing them all about because that's an extra balance use that you're doing with your arms to try and maintain it instead of having it come from the lower half of your body. If that is really easy, test yourself and close your eyes. I guarantee you with eyes closed, it is harder because our visual input gives us a lot towards our balance. So closing your eyes really hones in on what are the joints doing. So eyes open, then eyes closed. If that gets really easy, you can put a pillow or a towel underneath your foot to make it a little bit squishier. The other thing you can do is play around with arm and leg movements to add challenge to this. So arm movements, you can take one of these resistance bands, and again, nice and tall, that hip stays tucked underneath. You can start by just pulling arms out symmetrically. You can add a little variation where one arm pulls. So we're starting to kind of add a little bit of challenge to our trunk. And the hardest one is going to be rotating that trunk as we pull the arms. So arm variations can happen. You can also do leg variations to challenge it. So again, up on one leg, you can just bend and straighten the front leg. You can bring it out to the side and back to the front. With this one, I'm trying to keep the hips straight forward, which is hard. You can feel your torso is going to want to pivot. You can actually pivot the torso and come back, but you can see that is the harder one. You can also do forward and backwards with the leg. You can straighten the leg, bring it back, bend the knee, pull it forward like a bicycle in Pilates. And you can also do side leg lifts. But again, always making sure that standing leg isn't sinking out on the hip. So that the hip is always active. What you will find is the foot is going to get tired on the standing leg. You're also going to feel the hip as well. So these are really good balance exercises. They're easy to do. You don't have to carve out a bunch of time for them. If you are standing in the grocery store or on the shopping line, you can just simply pick your foot up. It doesn't have to be way high. You don't have to do something weird in the grocery store. You can just lightly pick it up and play around with your balance wherever you are. So these are things that I have people do as clients, as patients, and the progress is pretty quick. So I hope this is a good tip for you. I hope you guys try it at home. It can be kind of fun. You can have competitions in your family and see who can balance the best. And just see how you do as the weeks go on. So if this was helpful, please like it, please share it, or best of all, please comment on it because that gets it the most attention so more people can see it. And you can find more of my videos on YouTube and further back on Facebook. And if you'd like to hear a little bit more about what I do with my clinic, you can visit flowptandpilates.com. I hope that was a great thing for you to learn, and I will see you all actually in 2 weeks because I'm on vacation next week. Cheers.